Jax, Naomi was slyly closed, the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns were all shown at the start of SmackDown, arriving at the arena. So then I was worrying about the rest of the roster. How am I meant to know if they made it or not? Otherwise, hello my friends, it is I, Simon Miller, the Progress Proteus Champion. And listen, if you are in Manchester tomorrow, November 17th, Progress is having a show, and I am revealing the stipulation for this belt so you can come down. Or you know what? You can also watch it on Triller TV. So you should do that. Otherwise, thank you for everyone that sent me very, very nice messages about me appearing on Chris Van Vliet's podcast Insight, and you can still check that out. Also, shout out to the person that sent me a message going, "Oh, I will never watch WWE again if Simon Miller is ever signed." I didn't even mention anything to do with that. It was somebody else. You need to calm down. Right, we move that over there. Let's up those downs for SmackDown. Thankfully, we then learned Cody Rhodes was able to get to the show, because he made his way to the ring. Now, it certainly sounds like we're holding him versus Kevin Owens off until Saturday's night's main event, so that's going to be a big deal. And he basically like, "Hey, Kevin, we all saw what you did last week to Randy Orton, so you get your ass out here right now." Of course, that's because KO had destroyed Randy with a pile driver. And even though Cody was trying to invoke Wrestling Rule 14.8 here, you can't do that to Owens, because who understands wrestling tropes better than Kevin Owens? Nobody. He merely just ignored it, and instead Nick Aldis walked out and he was like, "Cody, man, you gotta listen to me." Kevin Owens gone totally crazy. He's gone totally off the rails. He was doing a power driver, which has been a banned move for the last 20 years, so I can't have him on SmackDown, so you need to shut your hole. Didn't say that bit. He was being very nice. It did make me laugh because he also said, "Cody, don't forget Randy Orton suffered cervical trauma." It's like, why are you making him feel any worse? And even though Cody was basically begging him to reverse this, Nick Aldis made it very clear, we cannot have the inmates running the asylum, so I gotta punish this guy good. Now, Rhodes thinks this is giving Kevin Owens exactly what he wants. The best part about all of it is that it was being sold like Kevin Owens had shot somebody with a gun, right? And I appreciate that. It is the way to do it. But why doesn't Nick just fire him? But no, we cannot fire him because we need him for a match in about 3 weeks. The long and the short of it, however, is even though Nikki tried to calm Cody down, he couldn't do it. And he even told us a story from WrestleMania 40, because after he had become the WWE champion, Randy Orton looked at him right in the eyes and said, "You know what, Code Man," which is the most hilarious name ever, "I'm proud of you." So Rhodes is super duper bothered about this because Kevin is running around telling everybody it was Cody Rhodes' fault. So what is he meant to do? Just accept this and talk to Randy Orton's wife and put the blame on his shoulders? And he even hinted that maybe he will go outside of the box or a box-like structure and beat Kevin Owens up outside of the ring. Cody then made it clear that he's not going to be waiting long, and once again, Nick Aldis needs to go and sort this. Both these guys were great here. Like, the art of a good promo is when you can kind of suspend your disbelief and go, "Man, I sort of believe what's happening here." That's what they achieved. It's another reason why I'm so happy we're out the other side of Crown Jewel, because now we've taken Cody Rhodes and we've thrown him back into a super duper story. And also eventually, I mean, in a few weeks, in a few months, who knows when, it is going to turn into Randy Orton going heel. And how the hell are we going to be able to cope with that? We're not. We're going to cry water from our seeing devices. This is absolutely getting an up. It is good wrestling for nalgages. We were then backstage when Jimmy Uso bumped into Brother Jay and Sami Zayn. I was like, why are these three never together? They always seem to meet up on camera. Jimbo then told them that Roman Reigns is on the way and he does want to have a big chat with them. And I was like, well, there you go. Roman hasn't changed at all. He's always got to be in control. Sami then revealed he's come up with another guy who could be the 5th member on the OG Bloodline team. And he ran off to talk to them. If I'd have been the Usos, I'd be like, bro, this is such a waste of time. Sami Zayn is not very good at recruiting. When we did learn that to crown the first ever Women's United States Champion, we are going to have a tournament. And I'm very sorry to be a negative Nancy, but I do have to give it a down. Because all of this just happened too fast. And once again, we're doing the tournament thing where it's triple threat match, a triple threat match, a triple threat match, a triple threat match. And listen, I am so happy this belt has been thrown into the world because the women's division has deserved it for years, basically at this point. But I just kind of felt like we could have built more of a story around it. And instead we've just gone, whoops, bang, here we go. So I am just a little bit disappointed, which is where the down comes from. However, it was Bayley versus Candice LeRae versus B-Fab. I've never been more shocked by anything in my life. Like, good for B-Fab. She deserves the opportunity, but she hasn't won a match since like 1927. How the hell did she get in this thing? Now, thankfully, WWE must have realized this because the whole match was basically built around B-Fab, and she whipped Candice's ass, she whipped Bayley's ass, and while I knew she wasn't going to win, finally we can go see B-Fab's got the moves, So let's use this and push her. Sadly, she then got screwed by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. So when we did come back from the advert, all of a sudden, Candice was in control. If you do work for a television network station, you could have that one for free. It sounds like a pretty good program. Bayley was then taking her out as well because, of course, they've had their mini feud. And I can't lie, I was rooting for Bayley here. We've talked about this before. Even when she did become the world champion at WrestleMania 40, it never feels like we make her the guy. So damn it, go and make her the guy. Candice made sure to get breaking up the pins when all of these three got into it. When I think B-Fab and Bayley realized, wait a minute, we're pretty decent people. Candice LeRae isn't. She's an absolute butt munch. So they attacked her. Candice still scrambled to the top, but B-Fab was able to stop her when all of a sudden LeRae did come back with the crossbody for a 1-2. Ooh. That's what I just said to myself. This is fun. B-Fab then got her own near fall because she was able to hit a neck breaker when WWE teased their favourite finish, because Bales was able to get the Bayley to belly when Candice went, ta-da, I'm here, and she tried to steal the pin. But it turned out she wasn't a very good criminal. She also missed the moonsault, so B-Fab took care of her, but that was super dumb because Bayley snuck in and hit the most devastating move in all our sports entertainment surprise roll-up. 1, 2, 3. So that's basically like her new finish, but as I've already hinted at, I'm never going to get mad at Bayley having momentum because I want Bayley to win everything and then do the dance of joy. Now, ultimately, do I think she will go through this tournament and become the first ever US champion? I mean, there's an outside chance, but I keep my fingers crossed. I thought this was good. Sami Zayn was there talking to LA Knight, which was pretty dumb, all things considered. We couldn't hear their conversation, but LA just walked to the ring, and if a face tells the 1,000 words, he does not want to be a part of the Bloodline. Before that, though, we did zoom into B-Fab, who was talking to the Street Profits, who do have a tag team title match later, when Chelsea Green and Piper Niven walked in and just went, you thought you were going to be the first ever US champion? That is total baloney, but don't worry, when me and Piper hold the belt, we'll let you touch it. Let's face it, that's a weird thing to say. But yes, please do this and give it to Chelsea Green and have Piper Niven think that she holds it too. But B-Fab just turned and went, that ain't a thing, you absolute goobers. You two can't hold it simultaneously. They then ran away because Meechin came in holding a kendo stick. I have been thinking about this all morning. Once again, that is a really strange thing to do. I mean, imagine that was a gun. You get completely different vibes, which is when LA Knight walked to the ring, and he did indeed say, hey man, I don't want anything to do with the stupid whooping Bloodline. Because he is mostly happy for these idiots to destroy each other, because he's got a United States Championship to defend. Mostly because he doesn't want to be like that dingus Logan Paul. Listen, bro, I get it. To counter that, he is going to continue on his open challenge when out came Santos Escobar. Now listen, I like Santos Escobar. I think he's really talented, but we've seen them fight so much. I was a little bit deflated. I was like, oh my gosh, not again. Santos basically said that LA Knight looks and sounds like a loser when he also pointed out Elektra Lopez. He was like, you remember her. She is in the women's US title tournament, so maybe she can win that one, and I'll take yours off you too. Knight then made it clear he didn't want to fight Santos because they've done that dance before. However, he didn't like the way Berto was looking at him, so he'll take him on right now, and damn it, he'll put the belt on the line too. He also said that he wanted to make Lopez his daughter, or at least he said that she can call him daddy. So I've been thinking about that for a while. I mean, it's a little bit of a weird thing to say. I wonder what was going on there. It was, of course, a very good opportunity for Berto, that was true. But say it with me on the 1, 2, 3. Of course he lost. Now this was a super quick match. It didn't go more than 4 minutes, but actually we soon found out why. This was about the post-match angle. Now Knight did totally get ruined by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break, because he was doing really well at first when we cut to the advert and we came back and Bert just smacked him in the face. Also, we 100% have to start calling him Bert, because it reminds me of Sesame Street. Even then, though, I didn't really think he was in any jeopardy, even when Berto pushed him off to the turnbuckle, when he applied an abdominal stretch. I was like, Berto, I've got you completely wrong, I love you. Knight just shoved him out the ring when he took his head and smashed it over and over again into Alan the announce table, and that must have hurt. When we got a DDT and Bert missed the moonsault and LA Knight missed his big elbow, when essentially they turned that around, LA Knight did hit his big elbow, BFT, 1, 2, 3. And it's always going to work when it comes to LA Knight, because that rhymes, so it must be true. So, yes, we shall get straight into the aftermath, because from nowhere, even though we haven't seen him for the last 462 years, Shinsuke Nakamura returned to SmackDown, looking like the coolest guy you've ever seen in your life, and he whipped LA Knight's butt. So I suppose this probably will be a match for Saturday night's main event for the United States Championship, and I'm all good with that. when you put all of this into a nice little package, it is getting enough. However, do you know what my reaction was when my brain processed this? I actually said out loud, even though I wasn't controlling my extremities, well, obviously Shinsuke Nakamura is just going to lose. That's what WWE has done. When it comes to Shinsuke, they have totally broken my believability in him, and in many levels, he's one of the best ever. So that's getting it down. If it's not a down for this show, it's a down for like the last 3 years, and I would actually pull a fast one here, and I would allow Shinsuke Nakamura to win, because if anybody deserves to get some momentum over his sales, it's that guy. Also, once again, he just looks so damn cool, and if you are going to change your look, you should be getting some wins. The Usos then met up with Sami Zayn again. It's like, no, I wasn't able to get a partner. You were right, I suck. They all then went into Roman Reigns' locker room, but he wasn't there. So if I was Roman's friend, I'd be like, oh, man, you're exhausting. We just want to have a conversation. Thankfully, he did get there at a very opportune time because he just walked in. And Sami, he wasn't playing games. No pleasantries here. Mr. Reigns, we don't have any friends. Jimmy then started to encourage Roman, you got to make the call, you got to make the call. And I was like, what is he talking about? When I figured it out, he meant the Ghostbusters. I mean, that's their tagline. Turns out it wasn't the Ghostbusters, so we're not going to see Egon Spengler on WWE TV. When all of this got interrupted, because they had super hearing, and they knew that Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline were going to the ring. Also, it just so happened to be on television, so they had to go out there and whoop some butt. Before that, though, Solo Sikoa told Milwaukee to acknowledge him. Just going to let you in on a secret. I did acknowledge him, because over the last few weeks, WWE has allowed Solo to enter Goofy Wrestling for Life territory, and he's so good at it. So it's happy I am on the Bloodline 2.0 train, I'm sorry. He didn't get to say anything else because Roman Reigns' music hit to get a big old pop. And this was really cool, because the OG Bloodline lined up on one side of the ring, and the Bloodline 2.0 on the other side of the ring. When they faced off, I was just like, it works, man. It's just good stuff. Jey Uso also hit a mega dive at one point, but we all forgot about Jacob Fatu. And we did what we always do, but it's so damn good. He hit the go button and he took everybody out. Not for dinner. It also allowed Solo Sikoa to spike some people, which is when Roman Reigns ran in with the spear. And this was such a fun brawl. And if it's a tease as to what we're going to get at War Games, buy me in. Eventually Zayn did a dive as well, which allowed us some separation, because in the ring, Roman Reigns looking at Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu was looking at Roman Reigns, and I think we could all feel this. WWE absolutely has something there. It turns out this must have been part of the plan for the Bloodline 2.0, because they have found member number 5, and I thought this was fantastic, because who ran in to take out Roman Reigns? It was flubbing Bronson Reed. He's big. It was so damn cool as well because him and Fatu ran wild, and that's a tag team that I would see. And even though Roman Reigns was able to fight back for a little bit, eventually Jacob Fatu hit the moonsault, and also Bronson Reed hit the tsunami onto our tribal chief. And you know the deal with the tsunami. It means you're dead for at least 6 weeks. It also means they're now stronger than ever, literally too. And this is when the officials came to the ring. And as always, I was like, you guys are useless. It's already too late. So of course it stands to reason that come Raw, Seth Rollins will go and join the OG Bloodline. And that's totally fine as long as we tell the story. And the story has to be, I'm here, but I don't like you, Roman Reigns. In fact, Roman Reigns, I think you suck. And at some point during War Games, do you know what Seth Rollins should do? He should attack Roman, and we should do that feud in 2025. Calm it down. So he really is doing a good job in setting up that Survivor Series match. Once again after this, the whole time Jimmy Uso was like, would you just make the call? All he wants to do is have people use phones. Also, look at it this way. WWE is so confident in their War Games Bloodline match, they're holding off a Cody Rhodes WWE title defense. That is a wonderful position to be in, as was this. Kevin Owens then did another video from his car. I like these. But he did admit that yes, he had been banned from the arena this evening, which is a bunch of poppycock, because last week, Randy Orton called him out. So when you break it all down, he was just doing his job. He also revealed that he just received a call from Nick Aldis, who said he did have to show up to SmackDown next week. And KO was all like, oh, it's because of Cody Rhodes. Goody two-shoe Cody Rhodes. What a pile of crap. He will come though, because 1, he's now decided to do stuff for himself. And 2, once again, he's just doing his job. Well, I tell you, my friends, good grief do I love Kevin Owens. When it was time for the Street Profits versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team titles, we can break this down into 2 little bits. 1, it was very, very good. And 2, it had a stupid finish, but actually it was justified. Montez Ford and Chris Sabin started this off, and Montez was just being a little bit heelish, which does tie into some of the Street Profits' actions as of late. WWE at least want us to think this. We'll have to wait and see. He still got arm dragged all over the place as Alex Shelley tagged in. You know the deal with the machine guns. When they do that, they just do all the double team moves. And they're so flipping good at it. Angelo Dawkins was offended by this though, so he just smashed into Alex Shelley, who went flying over Alan the announce table, which did trigger the commercial break. This goes to show what a veteran Chris Sabin is. The whole time he was just rubbing his hand, he was rubbing his hand, he was rubbing his hand. We should stop saying that, and as soon as he was able to, hot tag. Chris was so pumped he was able to take out both Street Profits as they all fell to the floor, and from this point on it was just great. It was all action all the time, and there is this part of me right here that thinks we should turn the Street Profits heel, but then we did that when they were with Bobby Lashley. It didn't work at all. The crowd didn't buy into it. We also pretended hugely here that the Profits were about to hit their finish when the craziest man in the tag team division decided, you know what, 7 minutes has gone by and I can't take it anymore, because Tommaso Ciampa got in the ring. He beat up everybody, so the referee had to call for the DQ. Now listen, Johnny Gargano was out as well. He was like, what are you doing, Ciampa? And do you know what Tommaso did? He pushed him onto the floor. Dun, dun, dun. Now we continued all of this relationship problems because afterwards the machine guns tried to shake the Street Profits' hand, but Angelo just pushed them on the floor. So now we have multiple wrestlers heading in multiple directions. So all I'm going to say about it is this has made the men's tag team division so much more interesting, and now I'm second guessing what we're going to do. And if you are the Motor City Machine Guns, well, there's a target on your belt. It also does tie into last week because Ciampa told us, I hate all of this. I feel like I've been dicked over. So of course he would get involved. Now yes, it makes no sense why he would wait 7 minutes, but that's just wrestling. So therefore I did like it, but please don't turn everybody heel, because that would be totally ridiculous. But as a segment, as in a match, let's get it up. Bayley and Naomi were then in the back. They just went and said really lovely things to each other. Now, Bayley did slip in that Naomi cannot trust Io Sky, and I really love that because it's a nice callback to the whole damage control stuff. When Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill walked in, Bianca was like, oh, Bayley, I still don't like you. So once again, always reward me for watching the show. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. Cargill, however, did promise that if Nia Jax and her crew do try anything funny, they will have her back when it was time for our Women's Championship match, Nia Jax versus Naomi. Now, I'm just going to make one thing clear here. If you were still throwing garbage at Nia Jax, you're just not watching SmackDown, because she has been so good throughout 2024. This was another great match. As for Naomi, she is permanently underrated. These two guys went out there and cooked. Now, of course, Nia used her power in the early going. She was just throwing Naomi around. At one point, she was kind of swinging her. That just felt rude. Eventually, she went for an elbow, but Naomi got out of the way when she hit her split leg drop, and she got in a sunset flip. That reminded me, damn it, I like sunset flips. Jax was able to stop that with a chin lock though, which always makes me laugh, mostly because it's called a chin lock. But my word, what a success story, because then she grabbed her opponent's head and she just slammed it into the mat. I was like, yeah, that'll do it. Thankfully, the challenger then remembered it is 2024, so she was able to hit Nia Jax with a dive. But that just meant the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment. The commercial break did strike, and when we came back, Nia Jax was on top again. Naomi was still able to reverse this bomb of power into this kind of destroyer thing for a 1-2-oo, and she then hit the rear view for another 1-2-oo. So I tell you, from this point onwards, WWE was just like tease, tease, tease. Naomi's next plan was just to run at Jax, which was a terrible idea because she did get Samoan dropped, although they did spill to the outside when Naomi hit a crossbody, and that's when some cameraman had decided, well, I better film these shenanigans, and on the big screen, Liv Morgan and Raquel I Now Wear Sunglasses Rodriguez were here, and they were taking out Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. The referee in the ring was then checking on Nia Jax. I was like, man, you're so useless, because surprise, surprise, Tiffany Stratton turned up, and she attacked Naomi, and I was like, someone needs to fire this official. It also leads to the big question, why does Nick Aldis keep allowing Tiffany Stratton to go out there? Which led us to the maddest move of the evening. Because Jax was going for some sort of slam off the top rope when Naomi essentially turned it into a Spanish fly. You have to go and watch this. And what a 1-2-oo I got out of that. If it had been the finish, I would have got it. This is when Bayley finally ran out to take out Tiffany, who was being a gooper, when we got another great tease, because Naomi was able to get the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment for a 1-2-oo, and her leg drop off the top for another 1-2-oo, well, her leg drop moonsault thing. Honestly, this was brilliant, but she wasn't able to get it done. Sadly, this referee totally sucked, because when Naomi went to the top, Candice LeRae was out here too, and Bayley tried to stop her, but you know the deal. When a wrestler inside the ring knows a wrestler is outside the ring, they totally forget they're in a match. That's what happened. Nia grabbed her, Super Samoan drop, 1, 2, 3, she is still your champion. This was really good though, and at the moment I think that title actually feels like it means something, so it is gonna get an up. When it turned out we had one last tease for the evening. Because we were backstage with Roman Reigns, who had decided to make this call, and apparently he had to do this by himself. Because yes, he had listened to Jimbo and he was using his communicating device when he actually said, "Call the wise man," and I burst out laughing. Now don't get me wrong, this was great aura and cinema and all those things, but I do have two reasons for it. One, we now know that Roman Reigns in his phone has saved Paul Heyman as the wise man. That makes him like an 8-year-old. And two, he then got an automated response when he finally got through that said this number is not in use. Which means there is a small chance right now, we don't know the story, that Paul Heyman changed his number and didn't tell Roman Reigns. It's like when you break up with your partner. It really is soap opera perfection though, and Roman sold this like he'd been shot in the face. He dropped the phone and he stared off into the distance, and at the same time his hair was all like crazy wazy. I thought this was pretty damn good. Now I have no idea why he'd be so hesitant to call his friend, because those two never fell out, and they always had a wonderful relationship, but that just adds to the story. So in terms of ending SmackDown on a high, you gotta give it an up. I am so pumped for War Games. And I'm going to give this SmackDown an up overall as well, because we had a bunch of good stories and a bunch of good matches. I mean, not all of it was perfect, but that was totally fine. Once again, I just think getting out the other side of Crown Jewel and heading to the Survivor Series, well, it's been damn better. Now, of course, please do let me know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is my ups and downs for Raw, so you can get all of my bald-headed opinions. Otherwise, my friends, I will see you hopefully in Manchester tomorrow. Take care. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.